questions, out of which some have been asked in previous exams and some are like just commonly asked questions. So since there are 30 questions, we have 1 hour session time, but I'm expecting that you all might be able to wrap it up quicker than that. So let's get started. Let me see who all have joined me on the chat. We have Medara, we have Shubham, hi everyone, Narsimha. Neeraj says, hi ma'am, please take questions on database too. Neeraj, database could be a very detailed topic to take in here. I'm taking just important or could be asked questions kind of for the computer awareness section, and memories of computer system. There are a few questions that will address that. So through the session then you'll get to know that. Hi Varshini, hi Rahul, Arpita, hi Suraj. Okay, I think some of you are having trouble with the sound, which I'm hoping will be all cleared up now. Hi Ravi, Hemant, Satish, Priya. Alright, so let's quickly start off with the session and let's keep it very interactive. I'll throw a question at you guys and I'm hoping that since these questions are all multiple choice questions, you have 5 options to each question and they are very basic general computer awareness questions. So if someone has brushed up the computer awareness or prepped for computer awareness, by just brushing up should be quickly easy and fairly easy to spot the right answer. Alright, so let's quickly start off with our session. And here is the first question for you guys. What is the default extension of Microsoft Word 2013? Hello Akshay, Sumit, Biprajit. So we had just started off with the session. We're going to talk about 30 questions, 30 important questions for computer awareness section of IBPS mains and RRB mains. So Shubham says docs. Monica said B. Bala has also answered 2. Alright, so most of you have answered B, just the right answer. But if the question is tweaked a little bit, let's say if instead of 2013, what the question asks you is, what was the extension in 2001? Can you tell me the answer for that? In 2001, or let's say in 2000, 2003, till 2003, what was the extension? So 2013 has the latest update for Microsoft Word, for which the extension is .docx. But till 2003, if the year is till 2003, either 2001 or anything lower than that, the extension would be .doc. So remember, when a question like this is asked, to check for the correct year. Alright. Next up, which unit is a computational digital electronic circuit that performs arithmetic and bitwise operations on integer binary numbers? Now this also should be fairly easy after looking at the question, which actually is the definition of one of these options given. So we have 5 options: BOU, AU, CPU, ALU and UPS. Now remember, some of these options that you get in your exams might not have anything to do at all with the question or with computers. Venu, Shubham, Ravi, Kaushal have answered ALU. Cool, and that is the right answer. Just let me give you the full form as well simultaneously. arithmetic and logical unit. All right, just in case if there is a full form kind of questions which are very common in bank computer awareness exam, just remember the full forms correctly. So they just tweak it a little bit here and there. Instead of logical, some option might have logic unit. So remember the exact word when you are checking for the full form kind of or abbreviation kind of questions. Cool. Next up, which button is called as middle button, used as third mouse button by pressing on it? Is it the right button? Is it the scroll wheel, touch bar, light bar, left button? Now anyone who has ever used a computer should quickly answer this and move on to the next. Which is the third button or the middle button? And what is it called? Is it the right button? Is it the scroll wheel? Okay, Shubham Venu answered scroll wheel. Bala Kaushal says B. Akshay also said B. Naveen Ravi, I'm pretty impressed by the speed at which I'm getting the answers right here. Alright, so B is the correct answer. That is the scroll wheel, which is in the middle button of the mouse that we use. Next up, representation of a series of still images on a projection screen or electronic display device is called as. Is it a slide edit, slide view, slide show, slide movie, slide image? What do you call when you represent a series of still images on the screen? Slideshow. Some of you are still, I guess, on the previous question. Venu also said slideshow. Okay, now I've started getting C. Manab says B. Manab, slide view is not the right answer. B. Okay, few of you have come up with B. Slideshow, cool. Slideshow is the correct answer. Like I said before, some of these options might not have anything to do with computer or the question being asked. Similarly, the rest of the options are just here to confuse you to not choose the right answer. There is nothing known as slide view or slide edit. Correct. Anything related to a series of still images on a projection screen is known as a slideshow. Next up, which memory is used as temporary memory? This is a fairly common question for any exam like bank. Which memory is used as temporary memory? And the options are all related to memory only, as you can see. So by temporary memory, they mean that the memory that is lost once the computer is turned off. Hi Sajid. Hi Rahul. Okay, BC. Aman says C, hard disk memory. Aman, hard disk memory is your permanent memory. It doesn't get lost once the computer is shut down. Okay, I'm getting a lot of replies between B and D. Manaya said D. Okay, all other options that are mentioned right here apart from B, volatile memory, only this one is the temp memory. That is washed off as soon as the computer is shut down. Okay, the rest, non-volatile memory stays, hard disk memory stays, read-only memory also stays, and flash disk memory is also a storage memory. So that also stays even after the computer is shut down. Alright. Next up, we have a software program that adds functionality to your computer or help your computer perform better. What is it called? What is such a software program that helps your computer called? Is it a function program? Is it a specialized program, manufacturer program, utility program, or compiling program? What is it called? Any other name for volatile memory? RAM is, when you talk of volatile memory, RAM is most often referred to that. But again, it's not any other name for volatile memory, but it is the volatile memory of the computer. All right, AAA, utility program. Hello Ashish. Rahul says B. All right. Simha also said B. Okay, any software program that adds functionality to your computer or help your computer is known as a utility program. Now, what do you mean by a utility program? Utility programs are the programs that perform specific tasks to manage your computer resources. Let's say the memory of the computer has to be tracked and maintained. All right, there would be a utility program running at the back end which will give memory access to random things that you are running. Let's say you are running a movie on your computer and at the same time you're trying to edit a document online, right? So you need memory space on your computer to do both the things. Now there will be a utility program at the back end which will manage the memory and decide which of your programs get how much of the memory, correct? So anything that works on computer resources and decides how to better utilize computer resources is known as a utility program. Cool. Now jumping on to the next. Which unit of computer helps in communication between memory and the arithmetic logical unit, that is ALU? Good evening, Manab. That's totally cool, Rahul. One-off questions can be haywire. At least now you know that if at all this question is asked in the exam, what is the right answer? All right, so I have CPU as answer. Shubham says CU. B, D, E, A. All right, I have got all the options. Akshay says B. Siddhant says E. Okay. Hi, Jagati. Okay, anything that has got anything to do with communication between ALU and the computer's memory is control unit. That is CU. Now ALU decides what operation need to be performed, and then that only communicates to the memory that I need this much memory space, let's say XYZ memory space, and then that is communicated back to ALU through control unit. Alright, so control unit is the single channel of communication between ALU and memory. Next up, what is data that has been organized or presented in a meaningful fashion? Kulkarni is asking for Java MCQs FB Live. Vaibhav, I'm not sure if we have enough time to get that session out for you guys, but if at all there is, we'll definitely plan one Java MCQ session. Good evening, Prakash. Hi, Deepti. Manav, it's totally okay even if the answer is wrong. Okay, Shubham says information. Chandra Prakash, I think I missed your question somewhere. Can you please repose the question that you are asking? A, D, B, again I'm getting all sorts of replies. D is software. It has got nothing to do with data and information. Hi Atira. Okay, I got C also. Storage again has got nothing to do. Okay, so process, software, storage, three things are not at all related to what the question is asking. It's simply asking what is data that has been organized and presented. So we can have random huge amount of data, but it is of no use till you organize it properly, so that if you want an output out of it, you should get to see it through the way that you have organized your data, right? And once the data is organized, it is known as information, because then it is giving you some relevant detail out of whatever data is. Let's say you have the age, height and weight data of 100 people. What will you get out of it? Nothing, right? But once this data is properly organized, like let's say people between 0 to 10 years of age weigh from this range to this range, or people between 50 to 60 years of age weigh from so and so range. Now this is an information that you can actually make use of, right? So the correct answer is information. Next up, Unix is a blank operating system. Fill in the blank. Is it an outdated operating system? Is it a sequential user operating system? Multi-user, parallel user, single user? What kind of operating system is Unix? Ashish has asked, is RBI Assistant Computer Awareness different from other exams as it is asked for a huge 40 marks? It's just that the marks allocation is more, Ashish, for RBI, but in terms of I guess the kind of questions that are asked, it's fairly simple. So if you are preparing for any other exam, or if you are preparing for the RRB exam, whatever theory details you have read of or seen kind of works the same for the rest of the exam. So you don't have to prepare something extra for this or any other. The question pattern is almost similar for all the exams. Alright, so Unix is an operating system. What is the operating system? Ram said multi-user. Good evening, Soban. Multi-user, multitasking. E, single user. Prakash, Unix is not a single user. Unix is a very popular operating system for multiple users. So the right answer is multi-user. It's not a sequential, or no way it is outdated. It is a multi-user, multi-programming operating system. So many users can use it at the same time, and many programs can run on it at the same time. What about Linux operating system? Same thing applies to that. It is again a multi-user, multi-programming operating system. is there any sectional course available for computer awareness only? Ashish, we have bank programs. We don't have a separate course for computer specifically targeted to computer awareness. All right, next up, what is a type of electronic spam where unsolicited messages are sent by email? Aman is asking what will be the level of questions in RRB clerk mains and expected cutoff. Aman, I am not the right person to comment on the expected cutoff. I'll pass your question to Rohit. I think he'll be better able to answer that. The level of questions, I would say, would restrict to the kind of questions that we are seeing right here on the screen. Very basic general info kind of questions that will test whether you are aware of computer as a subject, or programming as a language. So very basic, since all the banks now are working on computers, so they test your basic understanding of a computer. Himanshu said A, trash mail. Many of you have answered D, that is spam. Soumya said A, trash. Okay, trash is when you get a mail and you delete it. Okay, you on your own go ahead and click on the delete button. That mail then goes to the trash. Spam mails never come into your inbox. They directly go to the spam folder. If you open your mailbox, let's say your Gmail accounts, you will see on the very left you will have trash and spam and all of that. Now spam emails are the unsolicited messages, that is the messages that you have not asked for. So sometimes people want to promote their products, right? And that is when they send you these promotional messages. Okay, come join our event, or visit us at some website addresses, right? These are simply the promotional emails that have no relevance to what you have not fed your data anywhere, or you have not asked for these emails, but just promotional emails that are run. So they don't end up in your inbox, they go directly to the spam folder. Now in your inbox, whenever you have an email which you have read or which you think is not relevant to you, and you click on delete, that email then goes to the trash box. So that is the difference between trash and spam. I think most of you were confused between the trash and the spam. All right, next up, DOS is a what? Single user but multiple programming, multi-user operating system, multi-user and multi-programming, open source operating system, or single user operating system. Now just in case if this full form you are not aware of, let me just give it to you right here. Disk operating system, and now instead of DOS this is referred to as MS-DOS. Both are the same, so if you sometimes see MS-DOS instead of DOS, don't get confused. Vaibhav said A, Krishna said E. Okay, between A and E, single user but multiple programming. Cool, the right answer for this is DOS is a single user operating system. It's a family of disk operating system which is now under MS-DOS label. Which of the following is most suitable programming language for scientific purpose? Now, if you have to do some scientific calculations or if you have to do some mathematical calculative work, which of the following programming language is most suitable for that? Is it COBOL, word processor, BASIC, PowerPoint, or Fortran? And very quickly everyone has answered Fortran. This is, I think, one of the unanimous answers. Cool. Next up, Java is a Aman, open source is some programming language for which you don't have to pay. It is readily available openly for you to download and use. For example, Python is an open source language. You go to the website python.org and you can just download it and use. Shubham says machine code. Shubham, Java has got nothing to do with machine code. In fact, it is far off from machine code, as it is a high level language. And by high level language, when we say high level language, we talk of programming languages like C or Fortran, right? And why are they called high level languages? Because they are independent of a particular type of computer, or they have nothing to do with the machine code. So once you write a program in Java, you can run it on a Mac operating system, or you can run it on Linux, or you can go ahead and run it on a Windows operating system, and the output for all of these three will remain the same. Correct? That is what a high level programming language is, which is independent of the operating systems. Cool. Next up, all of the following storage media have read and write capabilities, except you have to point out which one of these 5 options doesn't have read and write capabilities. Rahul says D. Naveen said E. Tape drives. Tape drives have both read and write capabilities, Naveen. The right answer is CD-ROM. As the name suggests, it is, let me give you the full form right here, compact disk read only memory. All right. And this is the only one out of the 5 options given here that does not have both read and write capabilities. It just has the read capability. All right. Which of the following is a wildcard that stands in the place of a series of letters? So wildcard is something that is used to represent letters. So if, let's say, you have to say TalentSprint, correct? You don't know what character is here, S or something else. So you can use the wildcard question mark to represent this sort of string. Now basically wildcards are used to search for files or folders. Now, you don't remember the complete name, you use the wildcard character in place of the name that you don't remember. Okay, meanwhile someone I remember asked me, I think Chakra asked me, that what is the difference between CU and CPU. CU is one of the component of CPU, which is basically used to direct the operation of the processors. In short, I mean that it is there to tell the computer's memory or ALU or input-output devices on how to respond to the program instructions. If you're writing a program, CU checks what to do if it has to go to ALU or to memory, etc. And it is one of the part of CPU. C, D, A. Alright, so slight confusion I can see here for this question. Okay, out of all the options that you see right here, there is only one wildcard character, that is star. Now let's say you know that you have to search for a file name that starts with talent, correct? But you don't know what is the next word. In that case, you can say talent start, and anything that is starting with the talent word will come up in your search. Similarly, like I said, question mark is another wildcard character widely used, but that is used to represent a single character. So if you don't know it is S or something else, you use question mark. If you think that there can be more than one character, you use a star. Alright, cool. Next up, HTML programming uses tablets, tables, pictures, numbers, or tags. Where is the wildcard used? Wildcard is used when you have to, basically it's used when you have to search for something in your system. So instead of giving the whole name, if you don't remember the name, you use wildcard character to represent, okay, this is what I remember, but this is what I don't know. So give me all that you have similar to this. Good evening, Naveen. Can you take a class on SQL and Python? Ravi, that could be a difficult one because I think quant and reasoning is what is now the primary focus since the exam is really close. Tags, E. Avinash said HTML question mark. Avinash, HTML is hypertext markup language. It is used to design web pages. Someone said pass. It's a fairly simple question. Save and next. Alright. The answer for this is tags. Now in HTML programming, if you would have seen any HTML page, the programming is basically based on tags. So if you, let's say, have to write a paragraph on your web page, what you do is you use the P tag and enter whatever lines you have to write here and close the P tag. So anything in an HTML page is enclosed within these tags. Let's say you have to give a heading in the HTML page, correct? For that, the tag is H1 or H2. There is heading level till 6. H1 is the biggest. You give your heading, whatever heading for the page you have to give, and then close the tag. H1, correct? So everything on a HTML page is enclosed between these tags. So the correct answer for this is E. Next is when you open internet, the first page is referred to as. What is the first page referred to as when you open the net? Title page, intro page, master page, first page, or home page? Okay, the Shubham pinged the first home page. Vipul also replied CCC. Cool. So this is, I guess, something everybody is very clear about. C, home page, is what is referred to as. Someone said A, first page. No, it's referred to as home page. The first thing that you see when it opens up, it's called the home page. Next is the segment in which business directly sells to the end customer. What is it called? Is it G2G? Vijay says this question came in RRB mains. Cool. So coming to the question, segment in which business directly sells to the end customer. Is it G to G, P to P, C to C, B to C, or C to B? Okay, I got P to P, I got C to C, D, B, D. Okay, Naveen said D, Devi said D. Okay, most of you are giving me D, but still. See, one way to see it is business is directly selling to consumer, right? So if you, even if you are not sure of the answer and if you are trying to make a guess, the most close guess would be B to C. So business is directly selling to the consumer, and this is the right answer. This is business to consumer. Another one way is business to business, when you sell product from one business to another business, that is B to B. All right, and rest of the options that are given right here are just again to confuse you off. So B to C, business to consumer or customer. Cool, next up. This enables your computer to connect to other computers. What is this essential thing that your computer needs to connect to other computers? Okay, explain all those options. Like I said, the other options that were there, like P to P and G to G, etc., I can give one more option there to you. Y to Y doesn't mean anything, right? Just there to confuse you and take your attention away from the correct option, that is B to C. Please explain what is P to P. P to P is not a business format where you convert from business to a consumer. P to P is sometimes referred to as sometimes used when you're talking of peer-to-peer network, but other than that it has no relevance to the question asked. All right, A, NIC, let me write just here since most of you are replying with that, NIC. So remember, make sure that you have these abbreviations at hand because some questions could be around that too. A, cool. The right answer is A, network interface card. Without a network interface card on your machine will not be able to connect to other computers or to connect to a network. All right. Next, these monitors all the traffic that flows between two networks but block certain traffic completely, which may be intruder. What of these 5 options, that is firewall, antivirus, software, hardware, control panel, which of these allows the traffic between two networks but blocks certain traffic completely? So let's say we have one network, LAN, and another. So what is this in the middle that decides what to allow and what not to allow? A, firewall, Ravi replied, Raj said A. ALIT full form, where did you see ALIT? Firewall, cool. Everybody knows. So there is a firewall between two networks that decides what traffic is to be allowed, and you can set what traffic has to be blocked. Cool. Next up, a set of pre-coded instructions executed by a computer is called. Now, this should be fairly simple. This is the kind of question that you just look forward to. Saves time, saves energy. You just mark the right answer and get away with. program a software is something that can be made up of from multiple programming languages. It is again a pre-coded instruction, but the right answer for this particular question is program. Okay, next up, which one of the following statements is true? Now, carefully read all the 5 statements and then tell me which one of these is true. How many questions? We have a total of 30 questions, so we are about to wind it up real soon. Which of the following statement is true? OS is not a must for a computer. Supercomputers use single user multitask OS. It's just all the 5 options. Read carefully and then get your answer. I'm getting B, D, A. Rahul said A. Okay, malware is any software that has malicious intentions, like it gets on your computer and then disrupts the normal functioning of the computer. That is a malware. Rather, firewall on the other hand is something that prevents the traffic that goes between 2 networks. Alright, it decides what traffic is to be allowed and what is not to be allowed. B. Okay, right answer is Windows OS are the most commonly used multitasking operating systems. That is the only one out of the 5 that is true in the given statements. Okay, next up, the instruction to a computer are given in which language? Now you can write program in different languages, but when it actually is given to the computer, in which language is it given to the computer? B. Shubham said machine. Mohit is B. Is firewall a software or hardware or both? Firewall can be a software as well as it can be a hardware setup, but the purpose in both the cases is same. You can maybe run a software as a firewall which acts as a firewall on your machine, or you can have a hardware machine setup which acts as a firewall. A. Cool. Machine is the right answer. You write your program in any of the languages, but when it actually reaches the computer, it is in machine language. Alright, next up, in order for your computer to play music, what do you need? External speaker, network card and speaker, only external speaker, sound card and speaker, or a CD-ROM drive. In order for your computer to play some music, what of these is needed? sound card and speaker. A. Raghavendra said A. Sonu, Anil, Ashish, Ram, Rahul. Vinay says B, only external speaker. I'm getting a C also. Well, to play music, all you need is a sound card and speakers. Both of these are a must. One without the other will not work. 25. To restore your Windows XP computer to the state it was in on any previous date. Let's say you want to restore your Windows XP to whatever state it was on the 1st of November. Which utility will you use of the 5 given options? Now remember, we talked of utility. Utility is something that lets you work with your computer, specific task related to managing system resources. Now this is managing your system, correct? If you want to restore your machine to what it was on some previous day, you did install some software, it went haywire, and you want to take it back. What do you call? A, backup. Okay, I'm getting a lot of backup. See, backup is, let's say you have a computer and you have some data on your computer. Now backup means you move the data from your computer to some other external hard disk or some other cloud environment, upload it on the cloud, okay, or move it to some other computer. So you are creating a backup of your data. Just in case you lose your data from this primary computer, you should have it at some other location. That is what we call as backup. What we are talking about here is your computer has some data on, let's say, 10th of November. But what you want to do is, now you feel that it is getting slow and irritating you. You want to go back to what it was on 1st of November. Okay, this process is known as system restore. You are restoring your system to a previous date. All right, system restore. Next up, which of the following is not a document file in a word processor? COBOL, report, essay, memo, letter. I think it is very evident from the options that I have given you. Which of the following is not a document file in a word processor? Shubham said COBOL. Derangement. What do you want to know about derangement? A. COBOL, correct. That's the correct answer. COBOL. Next is, data and instructions are stored on special ROM, that is read-only memory chips on the board, and are called what? When data and instructions are stored on a special ROM chip, what is it called? A. BIOS. Devi says B. Flash. A. Cool. So BIOS is basic input output system, correct? It's a non-volatile, remember, non-volatile firmware which is used to perform hardware initialization. When you switch on your system, power on your system and it's booting initially, this is from where it reads the instructions and it boots the system. Correct? So the right answer for this is BIOS. Next up, RAM is this should be again one of those easy ones that you just take a glance at and know what the right answer is. Is it removable, permanent, fixed, temporary? RAM and memory we have already discussed, so this should be fairly simple. Temporary, A. Someone said A, unaffordable memory. So if you remember, in the very beginning we talked about volatile memory, correct? The memory that washes off when you shut down your systems. And in that relation we talked of RAM, right? So RAM is a temporary memory. Now volatile, temporary, RAM are few things that we interchangeably use. Okay, second last, LAN system is a obsolete system, single user system, interconnected network, local area network, or multi-user system. Now since I've talked of LAN in one of the examples before, this should also be fairly quick and easy for you. What is a LAN? Local area network. Vishwajit, Deepti, Devi, Sonu, everyone replied. Bhumika says it is an interconnected network. Bhumika, all networks, whether it be LAN or MAN or WAN, they are all interconnected networks. But LAN stands for local area network. Cool. And the last question for the day, the CPU of a computer system does all of the following except. Now out of the 5 questions options that are given here, what is the one thing that the CPU of a computer does not do? Process instructions, or is it manage the flow of information, or is it process data? What does a CPU not do? For questions like this, make sure you read through all the options so that you have the correct answer. Sometimes it is that you have the slightly right answer at B or C, you don't go down till E to read all the options. A, someone said A. Alright, again unanimously every one of you has given me the answer, that is store data. Now CPU does all of the things mentioned here in the points A, B, C, D. What it doesn't do is it does not store any data. Alright. So those were the 30 questions, guys, that are kind of important. You might see them in the questions paper that are coming ahead. And all the best. Have a nice exam. Have a good night's sleep for all those who have exams on Monday, I guess is the date. And yeah, have a nice time today. Thank you.